Landschaften, Afrika, Tiere und ich glaube eigentlich Kriminalität so ein bisschen vielleicht auch.
Very beautiful women and a lot of traditional and colorful dressing.
It's north to South Africa, and I read a book once about a tourist's tour in Namibia, and it's a fun story.
Ja, ein Land in Afrika, dann viele verschiedene Völkergruppen, ja, vielleicht auch Armut und politische Situationen.
I'm not even sure where it is, actually. I think it's in Africa, but it could be anywhere else.
Meine erste Assoziation ist, dass Namibia eine ehemalige deutsche Kolonie war und dass da im Moment heftige Diskussionen im Gang sind, ob ein Anspruch auf Entschädigung der Verbrechen besteht, die Deutschland da begangen hat oder nicht.
A developed country full of different people that have different understandings and just development.
I would say it's one of the countries that colonized Southwest Africa, which was renamed Namibia after independence.
All I can say is they made good things for us. Yes, they are helping us. They are donating things we have. We normally read Germany donating things like money to orphans and vulnerable kids.
Germany, country with Germans, not Chinese people, obviously. Oh, I love Germany, sorry. So there's nothing interesting about it there.
European countries, one of the biggest, and they have a great economy. And yeah, the streets are very clean.
It's like a foreign place. I really don't know. I don't know if it's good to think it's a good place, but one day I would like to visit with Germany. Yeah.
Not. I know that Germany had some colonies in Africa, but later than England and France. So I'm not really sure, but I'm guessing that since most colonial relationships were really very positive, I guess that's the same for that one.
But I know that Germany colonized Namibia in some sort of horrible way, and because of that people have this perception of the Germans, like, bad.
Es findet in der Schule dazu kein Hinweis statt. Woher sollen Schüler das wissen? Wenn nicht Lehrer aus persönlichem Interesse darauf hinarbeiten. Also ich war 35 Jahre lang Lehrerin, habe auch Geschichte unterrichtet. Ich kann mich auch nicht erinnern, dass es da größere Kapitel zur Kolonialgeschichte Deutschlands gegeben hätte.
Bedingt dadurch, dass wir auch in Lüderitz und Swakopmund waren und so weiter, haben wir natürlich auch viel darüber gelesen. Wir haben auch viele Schwarze kennengelernt, die sehr gut Deutsch sprachen, die deutsche Namen hatten. Das hat uns ein bisschen verblüfft. Ich glaube, die Deutschen haben da ganz viele Spuren hinterlassen. Wir haben es natürlich insofern gemerkt, weil es immer noch in einigen Städten viele deutsche Namen gibt, Straßennamen und so weiter, die natürlich dann auch an die Geschichte erinnern. Das hat uns fast ein bisschen gestört, weil wir Wir fliegen ja nicht in ein fremdes Land, um dann unsere Geschichte dort zu erleben.
The past in so many ways shapes the future, and it helps us to understand the present. I mean, if you come to Windhoek, for instance, or if you go to Swakopmund, then you need to understand all the architecture, the infrastructure.
If you ask any Namibian, they'll probably be able to tell you something about, the German colonial past in Namibia. But in the same breath, if you go to Germany and ask someone about that, they rarely know that Namibia even exists.
Many people don't even know where Namibia is. Many people don't even know what to expect when they go to Africa.
I came across one or two people that did know, but I don't want to speak in general, but I don't think they really do. Because, for example, they told me quite a few times I've been told that they don't learn about this history in school. In terms of the colonial past, there's not really any kind of acknowledgement there. But I do feel like you do need to have some kind of respect and some kind of awareness of the past, because it did happen. We can't just say let's forget about it, which a lot of people do, and I feel that is unfair and it's not right. So in order to move on, we have to first fix the past, so to speak, and to move on from there.
Knowledge on history in general, and specifically in the colonial history, is quite poor in Germany. It is an experience, a lot of young Namibians coming to Germany make when they visit schools, for instance. There's a question, have you got cars already? Have you got electric light? Are you still living in simple huts, something like this? It is a little bit a shame, but actually it's a matter of fact.
The impression that you get from Germany is that they are not so much talking about the colonies that they had. And there are very little indications of colonialism from German side. From the Namibian perspective, if you look at our curriculum, we try by all means to talk about that. So for Namibia, there is that willingness to teach about Namibian history, looking at the different timelines, if you want to call it that way. And of course, Germany features a lot in the curriculum and in the mouths of the people.
I believe we need to create more awareness around the German colonial era. And I feel that our education system should tell us the brutal truth.
1486. Portuguese traders and sailors make initial European contact with Namibia. Diogo Cao lands at Cape Cross. The following year, Bartolomeu Dias reaches the shore and names the bay Angra Pequena. 1805. The London Missionary Society establishes a small mission, but later transfers all of its activities to the German Rhenish Missionary Society. They begin founding churches throughout the territory. During the same time, merchants and farmers are establishing outposts. 1882. German merchant Adolf Lüderitz requests from German Chancellor Bismarck protection for a station that he plans to build in the region. Once this is granted, he establishes a city at Angra Pequena and names it after himself. 1884. The Berlin Conference regulates European colonization and trade in Africa. Its outcome, the General Act of the Berlin Conference, can be seen as the formalization of the scramble for Africa. The territory is officially declared a German protectorate and called German Southwest Africa. It is the only German colony in which Germans settle in large numbers. The legal system of the colony is established, implementing a separate set of laws for Europeans and natives respectively. Over the following years, relations between the German settlers and the indigenous peoples continue to worsen. A complex web of treaties, agreements, and vendettas increases the unrest. 1893. The so-called Hottentot uprising of the Nama and their leader Hendrik Witbooi occurs. The following years see many further local uprisings against German colonial rule. 1904 to 1907. The largest of the rebellions is known as the Herero Wars or Herero Genocide. The Herero and Nama people, led by Samuel Maharero and Hendrik Witbooi, fight against the German protectorate troops under General Lothar von Trotha. Von Trotha issues an ultimatum forcing the Nama and Herero, including women and children, to either leave the country or face execution. Many are chased into the desert, where up to 100,000 people die of dehydration. The Germans also maintain 5 concentration camps. Prisoners are used as slave laborers in mines and for railway construction, or at the disposal of the military and civilian settlers. 50 to 70% of the Nama and Herero population are killed during the war. 1914. During the First World War, South African troops attacked the Germans in German Southwest Africa. Being hopelessly outnumbered by the South Africans, the German protectorate troops have to resort to delaying tactics as their only means of opposition, merely prolonging their inevitable defeat.
I'm sure you're aware Germany lost the First World War. And as part of that, she also lost all the colonies that she had. The treaty that they had, the Treaty of Versailles of 1990, so Germany is unfit to colonize. So they took all the colonies from Germany and gave them to the power that won. Namibia ended up under the British, and the British were in South Africa at the time. That's how initially when Germany lost the colony, Namibia was given to the British who were in South Africa. In the 1930s, where you had another influx of German-speaking people coming to Namibia, and that is how we still end up with the Germans that are in Namibia, and also basically to say Namibians of German descent.
Born in Namibia, 1983, 5th generation Namibian German. I don't know. One of our presidents, Hifikepunye Pohamba, said, we have a tribe in Namibia called the Germany tribe. So I call myself a Namibian German.
It's very impressive, you know, if you come to a country where on the one hand side are German-speaking people like yourself, yeah, but they are just, in some ways, they are a little bit different.
I found out that we Namibian Germans are way different than the Germans.
Colonial traces are still visible everywhere. Like a classic example is, for example, all the street names. There are Straße instead of street. The statues all over, the German architecture. You know, the Christuskirche, for example, back here, or the Alte Feste. You know, you have a lot of German architecture.
So Namibia is the only country outside Europe where German is one of the accepted national languages.
The street names and the monuments and the area names like the Kleine Coopers and Kleine Vinton, I feel that all of this happened during the time that we were called German Southwest Africa. And thus it is upon the Namibian nation to now decide what will we do with these pieces of history left behind by our colonial masters.
History. For me, it's more about learning about it and, you know, understanding our past. Definitely, I think the buildings that are still standing today, that for me it's a sign of, you know, what did happen, but it's also a sign of, you know, we got through it. I would rather leave things as they are. This is the least of our problems. Instead, they should be focusing on, you know, having like meetings and discourse with Germany about the reparations and trying to, you know, get some kind of, I don't know, payment for what did happen.
I think right now the relationship between Germany and Namibia is a little bit tense because I think 6 or 8 months ago there was a revival of the whole genocide acceptance thing.
There are still different reflections, you know, and perceptions what really happened at that time, because some people say, well, if you just say it has been a genocide in 1904, and other people say, well, no, it can't be because this genocide is an judicial matter has only been introduced after Second World War in 1947, as international law. So you can't just say, well, backwards to say, well, this is genocide and now there's responsibility to pay reparations or something like this,
When we ask for the location of all these mass graves, because we don't know where all the mass graves are located in Namibia, and for our skulls to return, we ask it because our ancestors were deprived of their spirituality, their cultural ethics, their norms and their values and their traditions. We ask for our skulls and for these mass graves locations because we want to give our ancestors a dignified burial that they deserve, and in return restore our own dignity.
There is no doubt as to whether what happened was a genocide or not. I think that is very, very clear.
You can't go forward without knowing where you come from, and that is crucial. It's very crucial. We need to, first of all, we don't need the reparations or the apologies. We need first the acknowledgement that, you know what, we did this and we are sorry for it. That's what most Namibians are crying for right now. And from there, you can move step by step to healing that relationship. We have a lot of cooperation with Germany today, but we still don't address this important issue and aspect of our history. So you can't be planning future development projects if people still feel like animosity and tension between each other.
Germany is supporting Namibia highly on the field of development assistance since independence. Now it's 27 years, it's almost €1 billion. We gave as financial assistance to Namibia. That is per capita by far the highest amount for all African countries, maybe worldwide.
Germans loved supporting Namibia for many years.
The relationship is not bad. I mean, there are, I think, what they call bilateral agreement between the two governments. I don't know how to put it. I don't want to say out of guilt. Namibia is one of the African countries that receive a lot of aid from Germany. And of course, that should also be attributed to the colonial history that Germany and Namibia share.
As a child growing up in the south in Marienthal, we always heard all these stories about these absent German farmers who own these huge hectares of land in the south, and that they employ women and men from the regions. And these women and men would work their fingers to the bone every month on these farms. But who reaps the fruit? The absent German farmer.
The power relations can never be equal, especially when it comes to the haves and the have-nots.
I do hope that these negotiations between the two governments, on dealing with the past, come to a very positive end within the next 1 or 2 years, and that from that point on, there is no more shadows on the relationship, because if you have settled this, I can't see any other severe problem, for further development of the bilateral relationship.
Have you ever tried to get a visa to go to Germany or Schengen states? It's like you are such a homeless person, and you are trying by all means to get into Europe, and you never come back. That is the impression that I get every time when I'm applying for a visa. I think that is not acceptable.
I would love to see more exchange happening, more Namibians come to Germany, and there's actually a lot of Germans going to Namibia, but I would like to see more Namibians come to Germany.
Things should improve for the better. The relationship currently is not worse, but things can improve.
Improvement in the emotional connections, let me say, between both people by more intensive contact between young people from Namibia with young people in Germany, even within Namibia between the young population of different mother tongues, and I think there's always fields to improve.
I think Germany should man up and accept what happened.
First of all, we could make documentaries about it. This is a great platform. It's definitely getting the word out there, and if it's young people like us doing it, because I always feel like, young people in the world, like our age, youth, are the ones that are making the most difference anywhere.
We plan to have a small silent protest. This is a form of civic engagement to create more awareness around the German colonial era and what happened in the Namibian nation specifically.
I hope that Namibia and Germany mix as nice as I mix my language and my styles in my music.